Hello, my love doves. I'm so happy to be here with you on Monday, June 30th. It's 4:20 because I'm a clown. I will never not laugh at a 4:20 joke. And that ties into something I'm going to get into in a minute. But for those of you who are new to what I'm up to, my name is Andrea Donnelly. I am a professional wizard, a cosmic shaman, a masterful healer, an activator of ascension and true remembrance. I do all kinds of really cool things for people just like you who are visionary, who are waking up or awakened, who are really on this journey of deep remembrance and restoration of your profound magic. Because, as I always like to say, I created my healing modality, which I use to heal myself from previously disabling chronic nerve pain. It's called future medicine. And the reason that future medicine works in the way that it does, the way that it worked for me, the way that it has helped hundreds of people around the world who have worked with me privately and in group programs to restore their profound magic is because future medicine is a reconnection, a reignition of your own power, which is profound. You are a creator being. You are the magic. You are the miracle. You are the medicine. And that's why I do this work that I do, is to restore that frequency for you. And when you do that work, it ripples through your ancestral line. It ripples through your community. It ripples through this planet and through all life everywhere, through across all realms. It creates new possibilities, new roadmaps, and it allows us, you, me, all of us, to restore ourselves back to the fact that we are creator beings and that this false, ultra clown reality, planet, matrix in which we find ourselves needs us, not the other way around. And when you flip the switch, when you change the narrative, when you really lean into that power, the things that unfold for you, the things that I see happen for the people that work with me are wild and profound. And the same goes for me. So, anyway, that is who I am and what I'm up to. The reason that I am jumping on here today is because I feel very called to share a little bit more about timelines, the Mandela effect, and like glitches, we'll call them, in the matrix that I've been seeing for a while, but especially it's like ramping up, ramping up, ramping up. And why, as a result of all of this, it feels really important right now to be doing timeline work for yourself. I am very good at it. I'll give you some ways that I can help support you with that. But what I'm talking about in doing that is like as the matrix is collapsing, essentially. And I feel what I'm seeing as I tune in from my very bird's eye view through which I understand what's happening here on Earth, we'll call it Earth. As I tune into that, what I'm seeing is as more of us awaken, as more of us remember that we are the ones who hold the power and the authority, the magic, that our default state is that we are creator beings. As more and more of us remember this, it's it's causing all kinds of like wackiness and timelines, and in parallel timelines kind of like compressing or collapsing or merging into this now moment, which is also why I want to talk a little bit about the Mandela effect and what I've been seeing in my own life. And just as a side note, I'll talk more about this when I've wrapped it up, but about ways that you can work with me. But I do a monthly group healing, which is called Future Medicine Monthly. The June call, which was called All Aboard the Peace Train, was incredible. It was totally amazing. I talked about some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you guys today and went into them in way more depth on the call than I will go into here. And then I walked everyone through a really powerful activation and healing and just like very magical session for everyone, which did a bunch of different things, but one of the big key parts of what I did for everybody last week was reconnect them to their highest timeline, the timeline in which their highest favor is always rising to meet them. And I just cannot overemphasize how important doing those things right now is. And if you are not well seasoned at it like me, that's literally what I was born to do, was help you through this. So you can, I am here to support you, whether it's through my group programs, my sessions, whatever the thing is. This is, I keep saying this, you guys, but seriously, a lot of you have told me over the years that like working with me is on your bucket list. It's now is the time. It's the time to activate the bucket list. I can't, what is happening right now on earth is so bananas. There's literally never been a better, more urgent time from my perspective for you to start to cultivate your spiritual intelligence, to clear your field of all of the chaos, all of the misinformation, the noise, the karma, the drama, the BS that has plagued each of us individually on this planet and our collective for eons. It is time to say no more to that. And I am a wizard at it. I would say that I am perhaps the one of the most gifted people in the world at being able to help you extricate yourself from the false matrix and guide you home to yourself. And that's when things are going to get really good, is when we reach a tipping point where enough of us have said no more to this. I see through the illusion. I am going to remember that I am the key. There's nothing outside of me that is more powerful or knows more. But that requires a depth of experience. It requires you to really retrieve the parts of you, your divine spark, your divinity, your wisdom that has been very tampered with, very disconnected. You've become so disconnected from your own wisdom. And that's on purpose from my perspective, right? Like I say this all the time and I'll say it again right now, but I will always believe that the amount of just misinformation, chaos, like interference that we receive in so many different ways, like every system on this planet is nonsense and shenanigans and is anti-stewardship and out of attunement with like truth and justice, with abundance, with creativity. All of our systems need to change. Our food, our water, the air, all of that has been so heavily tampered with beyond just the fact that like all of our systems are nonsense. They come at us hard from every single angle because, and I believe that to be one of the big key pieces of evidence that I've always held near and dear to me, which is that we're the ones who hold the power. So just sit with that. It's really time to call yourself forward, to activate your unique gifts and vision so that you can be an antidote to some part of this misinformation campaign. It doesn't matter what it is that you do. You are being called forward. If you are finding yourself here now listening to me, I would argue it's because you are a visionary. You are a visionary who is meant to do something really powerful for not just yourself. And to be clear, I don't think it's everybody's role right now to be a voice for the collective. I think some people are really meant to simply call themselves forward, extricate themselves. But if you're finding me, certainly I can help you with that. If it's, if this is more of like a thing for you and you don't necessarily want to translate um your vision into something that is for the collective. But if you are here, you are very likely someone who is meant to hold some part of this restorative process through which we move. You are being called forward. You are a leader. You are meant to do something to help awaken your community in a bigger way. Okay, so take that seriously. It is time to cultivate your spiritual gifts, and there's nobody who can help you do that like I can. It's just the truth. There's a lot of stuff I'm really bad at. But helping you activate your spiritual gifts, your authority, your power, your sovereignty, that is my mother effing most magical sweet spot. And I have incredible testimonials from people who have just witnessed this over and over again. Okay, so going back though to what I'm talking about here about timelines, and we'll start with the Mandela effect. So a couple of weeks ago, I saw an ad somewhere for what is apparently America's #1 ice cream sandwich. Now, when I started this off, I told a 420 joke, and I feel like that was kind of perfect timing. It really set the stage for what I'm getting into right now, which is this, all right? We, I am a clown. I'm a really deep balance of like very wise and pretty fucking serious in a lot of ways, and then also just like ridiculous, whimsical, a true ultra clown. Am like, tell me your deepest secrets and let's find a way to integrate all of that wisdom into your heart in this now moment. And then I'm like, now I've got like a wacky clowny joke. I don't have any of my tiny hands. I wish I did. They would be perfect for right now. But suffice to say, I am very, very clowny. Okay. And about a month ago, this ad popped into something that I was looking at online that said that was for America's #1 ice cream sandwich, which is apparently made by a company called Fat Boy. Now, listen, you guys. As someone who is an ultra clown, I can tell you that if I had ever, in the 46 years prior to seeing this ad for Fat Boy, which is apparently the producer of America's #1 ice cream sandwich and has been in business since the 1920s, that I would have remembered that. And that especially as like a teen, would have gotten a lot of like fodder for jokes. I mean, that was like, I was a teen in the 90s. That was like when Adam Sandler was like all the rage. I cannot overemphasize how if a company named Fat Boy had existed, I would remember and know it. And I would have already gotten a lot of like leverage out of that to, the end of perhaps good and bad jokes. Never once had I ever heard of this company that has apparently been producing, one of the top novelty ice cream products in the US for 100 years. But I had never heard of this company until about a month ago. I swear it didn't exist in my timeline until then. And now I can't get away from it. I see it all the time, as if to remind me that I've ended up in like that, the timelines continue to sort of shift and change and move. And like things are really getting weird down here. And I think it's just going to get weirder. I mean, this is a thing that a lot of people don't talk about in the new age movement, and I think that is nonsense. I think there's so much nonsense in the new age movement. There is some wisdom certainly, but there's a lot of nonsense, and part of the nonsense is this idea that like things are magically going to get better just through like good vibes and intention. No, we have a lot of work to do. We need to do a lot of work for ourselves. We need to do a lot of work for the like overall there's a lot of work to do. Okay, I'm just going to keep it simple. But we're being called forward, and a lot of people keep saying, oh, you look at like, people are like, oh, with this, with this full moon, with this eclipse, with this blah, 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 like we've entered this new realm and da, 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 da. And like I think that we are in a very complex situation. I think things are going to continue to get more insane as we move forward. Do I think we have the capacity to completely change this and to liberate all life everywhere? I absolutely do, which is why I'm here. But it also requires a lot. It requires you to rise to meet yourself. It requires you to behave in a way and take your spiritual journey very seriously in a completely new way, to make room for things like timeline work, to start to understand the importance of how that affects you, right? Because the more that you engage with clearing your field, retuning your everything, your psychic wisdom, your creative vision, your body, your energy fields, your divine spark back to your heart, which I always say is the point through which magic is born, the better things are for you. You end up calling in profound miracles which move through you and are born in your reality, and it affects the collective too. So to me, there's literally nothing more urgent or more important than really getting real with yourself right now, receiving deep healing, diving deeper into the healing journey, the restoration journey, the true ascension journey. Again, to like a lot of stuff that people talk about by way of ascension is absolute nonsense. True ascension is remembering that you are the one who is a creator being. It sounds so simple, but it's a really intense process from my perspective. Having been on the journey myself, remembering a lot of things that many people have forgotten since I was a child, since I have memories as a baby. So it's really time to get with the program. Like it is really, really, it's ultra go time. Okay, so I'm just checking my notes here. All right, timeline work, yes, ultra important. Okay. So, okay, so there was the thing with the fat boy ice cream. And another example of something that I've seen by way of a very strange Mandela effect in my personal life is I've seen two different people who have massive followings who are supposedly in this timeline, which I find myself in, that we are navigating together at this point. I've seen two people. One of them was an actress who is someone who is, according to something that I saw online, and then I fell down like a rabbit hole of like researching this woman. And I don't remember what her name is. So unfortunately, I cannot tell you who she was. But what I can tell you is another woman who I've never seen in my entire life. Now, I am not saying I know who everyone is, but this woman who popped into my Instagram feed a couple of weeks ago, again at a similar point in time to when I saw the Fat Boy company. This woman who is apparently like a very famous world-renowned actress never seen before, never heard of, who was older. She was like, I think she was in her late 60s. And she apparently has been a prolific actress for decades. And again, I'm not saying I knew who everyone is, but I would think that given what this person has accomplished in the supposed arc of their life, that I would have heard of her, seen her at some point, right? Since I am like you, someone who's here, I don't know all the pulp culture things, but I certainly am familiar with a lot of, entertainers, and there are elements of pop culture I really love, even though it's also very like manipulated. And anyway, it's all of it. It's both, there are things I love about it, and it's also complex. So anyway, I would have thought that I would have heard of this person before last month. Not ever, not once, not no, 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 no. I read her Wikipedia bio. I did a bunch of research. I looked at her current IMDb. Not ever, not once had I ever seen this woman's face or name until about a month ago, around the time that Fat Boy, America's #1 ice cream sandwich, popped into my timeline. Okay. And the last one was from about 6 months back. And this is a guy whose name I also don't remember. Likely because these people didn't exist in my timeline prior to not that long ago. A guy who has like 500,000 followers, apparently, who's a manifestation bro. He's got kind of like long dark hair. He was in a lot of very fancy sunglasses as part of his like just gestalt, or you know thing that he's up to. About 6 months ago, that guy popped also into my Instagram feed, and I was like, I've never once heard of this man. And again, I don't know who everyone is, right? There are going to be people who I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that person before, but there's a different texture, there's a different energetic flavor to someone who has always been part of the timeline that I was born into versus the energetic texture to these people who, or like companies, events, things that are like popping in as things that have been like always part of whatever timeline, that are like part of the fabric of reality, as it were, that it just holds a different flavor, right? the people who I've been aware of who are on the world stage, entertainers, actors, actresses, when I look at them, they have a different energetic texture versus someone like this guy who popped into my field of perception and timeline, I would argue about 6 months ago. There's this way where it's like he's not even real. I can't, I could spend like 7 more hours trying to explain it to you, but that's kind of the short and the long of it. Okay. And because things are so wacky right now, because as more of us are awakening and remembering who we are, the matrix is trying to suppress the level of awakening and remembrance that is happening. And I think that that energy is causing a lot of weird, chaotic glitches, which are resulting in some very strange timeline happenings. Okay. And one of the big reasons why I shared this is because I have been for a couple of years at this point, really working very diligently behind the scenes with all of my private clients, with the people who go through my certification program, anyone who does private sessions with me. We do a lot of work on this in my monthly group healings, the Future Medicine Monthly, which I mentioned at the beginning. But it is really important right now to be engaging, to be taking timeline work, which from my perspective is the art of reconnecting to your highest timeline, which is everything that I do. You know, it's for you certainly, and it's all tuned to the frequency also, and the belief and the knowing that anything that is your highest timeline is the highest timeline for all life everywhere, right? Because it's ultimately that is the punchline to everything that I do. This is about massive, big restorative justice, reclamation of our individual and collective sovereignty. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story about some timeline work that I did with one of my students who I love, 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 love. Um, okay, so our Monday, June 30th. So not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, we were on a group call, and one of my students shared something she wanted my support with. Okay, so the next day we had a private session. So it had been scheduled a couple of months prior. She had a private session the next day. So on a Thursday, she shares something in the group about something that she would like my help with in that moment. And then also we tuned into it in an even deeper way the next day during her private call. And the situation that she wanted me to infuse with miracles and really like anchor her into her highest timeline so that everything worked for her highest favor. And of course, again, for the good of all life everywhere, the highest favor of all life everywhere was something that could have literally taken years to resolve. Okay. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but could have literally taken years to resolve. By Monday night, on a Friday, by Monday night, the situation had resolved in the exact way she had been hoping for. And it took a couple of days versus a couple of years. She was stunned. I was over the freaking moon, whatever the moon is, which don't even get me started about that. I don't have time to get into that right now. But the point that I'm making is that we are just moving through this very, very complicated window of time. And the more you go deep on your healing journey, on really restoring your own authenticity and your sacred voice, the easier, the better, the more fortified you're going to be, because we're still on earth, right? The ish is going to hit the fan sometimes. The more you take this seriously, the more you do this spiritual work and heal and really take this journey very seriously, the easier your life becomes. New solutions pop up. And because you are the miracle, you are the magic, you are the medicine, when you work with me and you receive future medicine and you really reconnect to that authority and that power, the miracles be miracle in, my friend. Like, seriously, it is so incredible. It is incredible. Another example that I have of this is that a couple of um, a couple of months so one of my clients just wrote me a really beautiful testimonial about the number of miracles that have occurred since she started working with me, which have been many. So she's done a bunch of different group private sessions with me in the past 6 to 8 months, and she's also in a full year group program. And she wrote me a testimonial recently, and she said, and I quote, my list of miraculous events that have occurred as a result of my work with Andrea is simply too long for one testimonial, but here's a sample. I had something stuck at work that I asked for help with, and the very next day it resolved itself. And this next thing is truly one of the most beautiful. Every client result is the gift, but this next part is like chef's kiss, true perfection. Um, And in a truly miraculous session, my baby was breech. Andrea and I worked on it, and at my next scan, he'd flipped. I say it all the time, you guys. I'm very serious about this. The reason that future medicine works so well, my modality, whatever it is that you do with me, a private session, group work, whatever it is that you do, the reason it works so well is because I've now said it a couple times on this call, but I'm going to end with it. You are the magic. You are the miracle. You are the medicine. What I am really good at is remembering and seeing that, clearing your field of the things that disconnect you from that truth, reconnecting you back to that reality, which is again, you are the magic, you are the medicine, you are the gift. So, like, let's just get to it, my sweet friends. Like, it is time for you. I said it a little while ago that if are ready to take this very seriously and just get to it, it's the time to reach out, to book that call with me, to jump into Future Medicine Monthly. I have two things for you. So it's Monday evening. I was going to end this tonight, but I'm going to extend it out through tomorrow since I had decided to record this. I'm going to give you guys an extra day to do this. But if you book any private session with me through tomorrow at midnight Eastern time, it disappears at midnight tomorrow, and you don't need any code or anything in order to do this. But if you book any private session with me, which range from they range in price, but any private session with me, you'll receive a $250 credit that you can use towards longer term private mentorship or one of my group programs. So this is an awesome time if you've had your eye on this and you've been trying to figure out how to work with me, then that is one cool, really awesome way to do it. And I have lots of other things. I have the Body Electric, which is a group program, which is all about restoring you back to your innate ability to heal. I'm going to be sharing the exact codes, healings, activations, clearings, all of the magic essentially that I use to heal myself from that previously disabling nerve pain, and the codes that I use when I work with clients who I have helped successfully. I have helped support through accidents, through injuries, through emergency situations that resulted in things like procedures and surgeries and all kinds of different things. That client, my beautiful client Alex, who I did energetic work to help her baby go from being breached to being in the correct direction, to have a much easier, more stable birth. Those are the codes that I'm going to be sharing with you. That's the wisdom, that's the magic, that is the medicine to essentially reactivate your capacity to create magic and miracles. And I know how to do that in a really powerful way. So if you're interested in jumping in, the Body Electric is 9 weeks. It's going to be so much fun. It's a bunch of awesome, really powerful, we'll call them healings, but they're so much more than that, future medicine healings. And it's also, so it's for people who, want to activate like a deeper level of health, certainly. And in the mix is also, because it's all interwoven, the other big part of it is that I am 46 years old. And I, have aged incredibly gracefully. It's certainly not because I've had an easy life. That is not why. Big part of it is because of these energetics. I call it my spiritual Botox. Anyway, I would love, love, love to support you. It is time, my beautiful baby. I am here for you. I cannot wait to see you, whether it's in a group or in a private call. And if you have questions about like what would be the best place for you to start, what session would be like the best for you, you can definitely go ahead and you can send me a message on Instagram. You can find me at witchery.com, and you can just let me know that you're interested in booking a session, but you're, wondering what would be the best fit, and I will tune into your circumstances, and we can chat about what I see in terms of where to begin and where to start. So I'm here for you. It is time. I am so grateful for you having been here and having joined me in this beautiful field of restoration and creation. And oh, the last thing that I will also say is I have a new interview on Third Eye Awakening, which is so much fun. I think that this is my fourth time on Third Eye Awakening, and it's hosted by my like dear star sister Amy Belair, who I just love in every way. But we went deep into so many different things. We talked about personal growth and authenticity, about what the bleep is happening on this planet right now, about business and entrepreneurship, about the effects of the false matrix on your energy, and just so many different things. We dove into AI, creativity, all kinds of things. So I definitely recommend that you check that out too. I don't remember what episode number it is. Oh, it's episode 259. It just came out on June 26th. And so definitely check that out as well. Follow me on all the places. Please, please, please like this, comment on it, share it far and wide. I am a one woman operation. I would love to have you, the more you can like my things, comment on them, share them with people who, need future medicine, who need this wisdom, and who need to restore, their creativity, their gifts, and their sovereignty. The more, you can refer and spread the good word for me, it just helps me so much to grow my impact and my reach and my presence, and help more people find me. So thank you so much. And yeah, go ahead and book your call now at weareheretoremember.com. I love you till next time, my sweetheart.